Greetings, outstanding folks, and welcome back. Jarvan with another brass instrument video. This is the second one of the day, strangely enough. You probably might have seen my trumpet range check video I did this morning. But now I'm doing one on the trombone. My progress on the trombone right now, I've gone through the Rubank Elementary method and about a quarter of the way through the intermediate method. But while I was working on the intermediate method, I've still been working on lesson 39 of the elementary method, just to try to nail down notes up to the high B flat, and also trying to nail down the pedal B flat, which is even more difficult, especially when you're used to a trumpet. And so this demo will be on lesson 39. It's titled High Notes and Clefs. High B flat is a high note. I don't consider pedal B flat a high note on trombone. And I'll give it my best shot so I can actually pick the book up. The first one's just, there are 3 exercises, and it says clef, so there's another exercise in there that discusses the different clefs that are in use. And I'll show that when I get to that point. Exercise 1 should be fairly easy as far as technique. What made that particular exercise challenging is having to cover a 3-octave range toward the end from the high B flat to the pedal B flat. And I'll shoot the breeze while I'm loosening up my chops for the second one. Exercise 2 is kind of an arpeggio exercise. Goes pretty high. So I'll see what I can do. Still shaky up there. My chop still needs a lot of work. Especially going up the high B flat and dropping to low B flat. 2-octave drop is tricky. The third exercise in it, it's kind of like a scale type exercise where you run up but then you drop back down to the starting note. Another challenging exercise, especially for elementary method. Here we go. Yeah, that's definitely a challenging exercise because that's also covering an expected 3-octave range. Now the last part of that particular page discusses different clefs. Because depending on what music you're playing, you're going to have different clefs because the standard staff is 5 lines. And here's and this is the passage that the trombone would use on this. And that's the same way regardless of the clefs that are used. And this particular lesson covers 5 different clefs. And I'll show what they are. The very first one is bass clef. That is a standard clef that's used on trombones, baritones, euphoniums, and even the tuba. They're written exactly as the note should be. The second one is a treble clef in concert key. And in the concert key, where that comes in handy is where you're reading off standard sheet music that has music in the treble clef, and you're on an instrument that doesn't need to transpose to get the job done. There aren't very many instruments that in orchestra type stuff that use the treble clef playing in that key in that same octave without the music being transposed. The 2 examples I can think of are the flute and a C trumpet. The third one is the treble clef with the transposition, where the notes are raised up a step. That's normally for a lot of the treble clef instruments, and tuned to B flat, like a B flat trumpet, soprano saxophone, baritones that use the treble clef. The fourth one, the tenor clef, is basically a specialized C clef where this centered with the C on the second line from the top of the staff. That's very rarely used, occasionally on a trombone part, but in some European band editions. Not very commonly used, especially these days. And the fifth one, the alto clef, it's the same clef but moved down where the centered on C on the center line of the staff. And very rarely used anymore. And then I'll show a sixth clef from an old hymnal that I've had for a while. There's a clef. You see this? The 2 thick lines slanted, and then each side of it has 2 really thin parallel lines. That's also a version of a tenor clef that centers on C on the same space of the staff as where C is located on the treble clef. And it's written just like the treble clef, but the notes are an octave below. Very rarely used now. A lot of tenor instruments these days just have the straight treble clef shown and play it notes as if it's written that the notes actually are an octave lower. Like I said, tenor, saxophone, baritone, and the key one's the guitar. Guitars have the notes written an octave above the actual note. Sometimes you'll see a little bit of a small 8 below the treble clef. That indicates that the notes are sounded an octave below what's written. But that's not that often used. So that's a rundown of the Rubank, finishing that book, discussing the different clefs. In modern music, you generally only just see the standard treble and bass clefs. Hopefully you'll find this clef information handy, and appreciate you taking the time to watch, and wish you all the best.